Welcome to musicmoveit.com. I am Torio, and today I want to talk about the one must-have when releasing your music. So, what is the one thing you must have when releasing a single or a whole album? And that is a budget. I want to put this into some people's brains because they don't get how much money it costs to properly release music. A lot of artists think it's all free. Not all free, but they think it's like not as much money as they think. But you got to understand, there's so much money being spent to put together a great campaign to get this music out there. So hopefully people will stream it and download it. And if you have CDs, buy the CDs or vinyl. So it's no joke. I mean, major labels spend hundreds of thousands on major artists just to get this music out there. You got to understand, there are radio campaigns, Spotify campaigns. Yes, everyone is spending money on these campaigns. It's not just all free to get your music out there. You got to pay to stand out from the others, basically. So they pay people that deal with radio people. And these people already have relationships with either people that work at radio stations who are the program or music directors on terrestrial radio. And they also know people who have playlists on Spotify. And guess what? It's not just all about Spotify. It's Spotify, Tidal, Apple, Amazon, all that good stuff. They pay to get their artists on this list. Or if you're the indie artist, if you want a decent radio campaign, you gotta pay to get on these playlists. Unless you're lucky enough and you can ask some people that have playlists and be like, hey, can you put me on your playlist? But if you want to get on a solid, well-known playlist, you got to pay. That's just the reality of it. A lot of artists don't understand this, like, you know, artists that are just starting out. Also, just simple things like posters, advertisements. You know, if a show's coming up, you want to place an ad in that area. You want to place radio commercial ads if you're having a show coming up. Just various expenses like that come up. Tour support. You got to have money to tour. And whether it's a major record label or you're an indie that just consists of you, or if you own your own indie label, most times artists that go on the road, they get tour support. They get a per diem, which is money that they get every day to be able to eat and, you know, do simple things like that so they can live, basically. Then you need somehow for them to get around, which is like a vehicle or a tour bus, depending what your budget is. Then there's gas. Then there's investing money towards merch. You got to spend money to make money. So they got to spend money first to get this merchandise so they can take to these shows. And then hopefully you get the money back and you make money once you sell the stuff. But this is all part of the budget. And man, major labels, for tour support, that is a lot of money. And they're banking to get all this money back through streams, downloads, and all that good stuff. So it's not simple. It's not cheap, but that's just the way it is. Oh, also, don't forget about social media these days. They pay a lot of money for social media campaigns, especially for pre-release. Like before the album's coming out, they want to start getting into people's heads like, hey, this artist's album is coming out. Be ready, pre-order it, things like that. So we're talking Facebook ad campaigns, which can add up. I mean, you can do simple ones for like $20 a week, but a real Facebook campaign will probably cost you a decent one, indie label style, maybe $500 a week, just to get your message out there. And that's including like Facebook and then it combined with Instagram. And then, but there's other things like Twitter. You know, there's just so much out there. And make sure your music is on Shazam, because Shazam plays a huge part these days in seeing what's hot. Because think about it, if your record is being played in some club and people are Shazamming it because they want to know who's it by, labels look at that. They look at the stats to see who's getting Shazam. Shazam even has their own charts now. So make sure your music is on Shazam. But as far as social media, your best buck is spent usually with Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, also YouTube. YouTube is a major part of any record release. You need to get a video on there. Now, you don't need a huge budget to do a video, but there's been plenty of artists and bands that did a video for like $200, and they got it to the right people, and it really helped with their record sales and their downloads and their streams. So keep that in mind. A good video is just something creative that gets the message across to your listeners or to new potential fans. Because when people connect with a video, they connect with the song. And of course, a video is basically a commercial for your album or your song. That's all it is. And you can do a decent video on an iPhone or an iPad nowadays. So just get creative, and it could be a win-win for everyone. Remember that. You don't need a huge budget to do a video these days. So get out there and be creative. Do something decent, and then you could even edit it on iMovie if you wanted, which is on iPad and iPhone and all that good stuff. So, yeah, but that's what you need. People need a budget, and they don't always understand that. You're not always going to get favors, or your buddy lets you record in the studio. That's not going to get people to download stuff. You got to market. You got to promote. You got to make people aware of your music so they know where to go to get it, where to find you online, where to see you in concert, all that stuff. And it all costs money to get those messages across. So remember that. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe if you haven't yet. I have tons of content. Also, look in the description of this video. There's tons of things down there that can help you with your career. Whether it be ebooks where you can get knowledge, or discounts on services that have to do with artists and bands like TuneCore, Bandzoogle, Jango Radio. You could get 100 free spins on their streaming service. It's all down there. Please take advantage of it. Also, send me Music Friday. Every Friday I do a show where I review 5 songs, quick reviews of them. And if you want your music on that show, also in the description, it's down there towards the bottom. It tells you what you need to do to get your song to me. And it goes on every Friday, so check that out. I appreciate everyone watching, and I will see you next video. Thank you.